March 23rd at 125 pounds against Amanda Ribas. I just saw her on the mat. Let's see where she's joining us from. Oh, she's all cleaned up. Hello, Rose. How are you? That was like 4 minutes ago.
Good.
You look good. How's everything?
Yeah, we even got showered up. We got lunch. We came back to hotel. Got framed up. You know.
You did it all. Pros. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
like a superhero.
Thank you very much. As always, great to talk to you and great to see that you are back. And so could we actually start the last time we saw you several months ago, because we haven't talked since. Just curious about your finger. That was some gnarly stuff in that fight in France. How is it doing? Oh, okay. Oh, wow. It's still a little bit, yeah. What was it? Like, what
Yeah.
happened?
So probably within the first minute of the fight, I would say I think it's around the first minute. You can see, oh yeah, 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Damn.
I went to like a sprint step right hand, but my glove was a little wide. My hand probably was a little loose too, and my pinky just caught right on her forearm, and it just jammed my pinky, and I knew instantly something was wrong. Um, yeah, so I was like, oh man. So I think I probably spent the whole first and second round just kind of like dealing with that in my mind, and trying to, just work through that. But and it was crazy because I was still trying to like hit with this sometimes, and it would just like make it even worse. But yeah, so we got through it though. And then it was funny because like by the end of the fight, like in the third round, I was like, I switched lefty and I started finding my left hand and I was dropping her. I was like, ah, man, I wish we had 2 more rounds.
Afterwards, no, you didn't need surgery or anything on that, right?
No, and it was crazy because like I just thought like they set it so right after the fight they set it back in place, and then they basically just said like, I think it was like 6 weeks in a splint or whatever. But then it wasn't until like a month later that I went to see JJ Aldrich fight, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, that looks terrible. You're gonna need surgery on that." So I was like, I got all stressed out about it, and then I ended up seeing a hand specialist, and then they said that I didn't need surgery. The only thing that surgery would really do is just make it a little more straight, but it would run the risk of not
Mm.
being able to make a fist. So it was like, as long as I can make a fist and I can grab with it and it's strong and it's not gonna like, like whatever the doc said, it's not even nothing that you could make stronger. So it's just like, you just got a little crooked finger, but it's all good. Which
Does
is what I thought in the first place. And then yeah.
does it bother you now?
I mean, it's a little stiff, I guess, sometimes, but like as far as just like and when I first started back to like sparring and whatnot, with the MMA gloves, it was definitely something that I was like thinking about, like making sure I'm placing my hand in the right spot, not like hitting elbows or anything. And but at this point now it's like I don't even think about it. I do have a little splint that sometimes I put it in, or I'll like wrap it just to like kind of reduce some swelling sometimes. But yeah, it's fully fine. It's just sometimes a little stiff, but other than that, it's cool.
There was some talk after that fight. People were wondering out loud if that was going to be it for you. Did that ever cross your mind?
No, it was funny because as much as like, I've had those thoughts like all the time, but this was the first time after a fight where I actually wanted to get in there right away. And I was actually I was kind of frustrated that my pinky was all messed up because I was ready to go like mentally. So yeah, I mean, I guess I always throw people for surprises.
What do you attribute that to? Why do you feel like you have maybe like a newfound vigor when it comes to your career?
Yeah, I think it's because I don't know, I've just been working through a lot of things spiritually. Like I've been changing a lot of things. Like I've been changing a lot of things in my life, and I feel like I'm at a point right now where it's like, oh, I feel like I've figured some stuff out, and it just didn't go my way. So it's like, but it almost like gave me more fuel, you know what I mean? And whereas I know that I'm 31 now, so I mean I don't have like the most time, but I mean I feel like I'm right at that spot where it's like physically and mentally I'm like I'm still feeling really good physically, and I feel like now's the time, so it's just like, it's really exciting because one, it's like, I've achieved everything that I wanted to achieve at 115, and this is kind of like my, like sort of like last on my to-do list as far as like my MMA career. Like I want to make some noise at 125, get that belt again, and that would be super cool, and wherever God leads me, that's where I'm gonna go, and just kind of leave it up to him. But that's I know I've got a certain amount of time. I'm gonna make the most of it, and I'm gonna do whatever I can.
When you say that you've kind of figured some stuff out in life, can I ask what you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much. For the last 2 years, I've been taking care of my grandmother. So that's been like a huge maturing process. 'Cause she's 86, and she doesn't. She I mean, she speaks very broken English, and you know what I mean. And and as far as like, if anybody that knows me and my emotions and stuff, she's a lot like me because I get everything from her. So it's like, so I'm like dealing with myself times 100, kind of a thing. And so like that's been a huge like life changer for me. um just one, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I feel like, maybe I'll be able to talk about later, but I guess one thing that I've like really improved on in my life is, um I felt like it necessary, like I was being convicted by, God, that I needed to stop drinking caffeine, which I mean, it seems kind of like a silly thing, but like it really was a big deal for me. Like I just really, it was like a really big crutch for me. And so now I just lean on my spiritual strength to give me energy rather than, some outside source of caffeine, which is crazy because if you were to tell me that I wouldn't have had a sip of like any type of caffeine, I'm talking like just tea or anything, like I would have thought you were crazy.
Wow.
And I'm sitting like, yeah, so it's kind of nuts because I always like wanted to get off of it because I like I would notice that I have like a little more elevated blood pressure anytime that I would drinking a lot of caffeine, but I was addicted to it. And so, and I now I'm dealing with my grandmother who, she has like, blood pressure stuff. And so I'm like, I want to take care of, it's not just for like just for sport, right? Like I just want to live like a healthier whole like holistic lifestyle, like starting now. Like I don't want to wait till, I'm like older. So just things like little maturity things like that, or just like being careful about what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, like trying to just fill myself with like good things rather than like there's just so many things we don't realize that are so like demonic, or things that aren't like good for us that we ingest all the time, not just like through our mouths, but just watching things or listening to things, and just trying to be more of a loving person, try not to like engage in like gossip or things like that, just like stuff, trying
Hmm.
to be like a better person in general. So yeah, I'm trying to think like, there, I know there's like a bunch of other things, but
I saw you got baptized as well recently, right?
yeah, I did. I did. So yeah, I should have said that. Yeah, definitely. I was baptized as a baby, and then I was baptized by, you know, my stepdad like when I was a little older, but he was a very, if you ever watched my documentary, he was not a good man, and he was very abusive and things like that. So, and it's crazy because from that, like there's a whole I guess spiritual, journey after that. But and then for a while I kind of fell away from my faith, and then I ended up coming back to it, later on in my life, and then everything kind of just came a lot clearer. So I wanted to redo that and rededicate myself, and just to kind of wipe away, and become born again and renewed and stuff like that. And so, it's more symbolic than I feel like the actual changes was happening before that, but it was just like a really just like, public commitment to like my faith now. So it's just like every day just trying to, walk the narrow path, but it ain't easy, and I still got a lot of work to do, but that's where I'm going.
You mentioned, you've done what you've done at 115. There's nothing really left there anymore. You were champion multiple times, so 125 is a new thing. You can become champion there for the first time. Now that you've had that 125 pound fight under your belt, How did you feel out there? Do you feel like you need to add more muscle? How did the body feel without having to cut that extra weight, but obviously fighting a weight class above?
Yeah, I actually felt really good. I felt like now I'm even a little more like solid. I had a little more fat on me, but it wasn't like a whole like a ton or anything. It was just I definitely was a lot leaner at 115, but now I feel like I'm a little bit bigger and a little more solid too. And so and I'm just more accustomed to I guess, moving around at this weight as well, because that's another thing. Once you put on that size, you got to be also be able to have a little bit of endurance. And that's what my goal is like because I do feel like, even though it is like more work overall, fighting at a little bit heavier of a weight class, but, I feel like over time, I'm able to, have more endurance, because these other girls are, a little bit bigger, so they're moving around more weight. So I just feel like, but now it's like I'm getting into that balanced sweet spot where now it's like I don't want to get too big because now I don't want to be cutting the same amount of weight as I was at 115 because it was getting kind of rough. And so like now as I sit, it's like I can't even imagine trying to go back down. Like I could, but I'd really have to be starving and running a lot. And it's just like, ooh, it doesn't seem like a healthy thing to do.
Did you like this opponent when offered, Amanda Ribas? Was this someone you had in mind?
Yeah, Amanda, I like her a lot. I mean, I think I've met her like once or twice before. She's always got some good energy, but she comes to fight. She's gonna give it her all every second of the fight. So, that's probably the biggest, I guess, danger that she poses. She's got some good techniques, but overall I just feel like I'm better everywhere. So I know I'm better everywhere, and I just have to maintain focus and discipline and just I guess stick to the game plan and get her out of there whenever I can.
How about fighting at the Apex? Um, which, off the top of my head, I don't think you fought at the Apex yet, right? You
No.
you're a big time fighter. You've been fighting in front of crowds, and so this has a little less buzz hoopla. Is that something that you're excited about? It's just about the fighting, or would you have preferred to fight in front of a big crowd?
To me, it didn't really matter. Obviously, a big crowd would be like I used to not like I used to be like, all right, less the
Yeah.
better. Now I've kind of like gotten accustomed to the big crowds, whereas I've been on like big shows too with titles on the line and things like that. So it's like it is a little different, but to me, what was important was the timing of everything because I didn't want to wait too long, but I also wanted to have a proper training camp and make sure that I'm like 100% ready. So, and so that's what the date they gave me. And I felt like March at the end of March was like perfect for me. So yeah, but to me, like if it's not a big crowd or whatever, it's like, that's fine too. It's just a little more intimate setting. It just kind of, reminds me of, the Ultimate Fighter or even like when we fought in Abu Dhabi and Fight Island, like there wasn't really much of a crowd there either. That was just like a whole different experience. But yeah, like it's just kind of like the Ultimate Fighter. You can hear your corner a little bit more. Which I mean, not that Pat has any trouble carrying his voice, but like it's just nice. But yeah, and I think like the cage is a little smaller, so it's more wall work.
And so
Yeah.
it's also, I think, good timing for you because March 30th, Manon Fiorot and Aaron Blanchfield are fighting. And then we just found out recently, April 13th, Zhang Weili is fighting Yan Xiaonan. So I always think if you want to be a contender, it's good to fight around the same time as the other top contenders and the champion, of course. And so I'm wondering, you win this fight, do you put yourself in that, you just fought Manon. Do you put yourself in that conversation? Do you feel like you're going to have to do a lot to get to the title shot? Or do you think it's just one or two to get into that picture?
Yeah, I guess it really depends on how the performances kind of stack up. Obviously, like I know that I lost to Manon on paper, and I definitely take that loss. Um, but at the same time, it was like I was fighting her with one hand. Like it was a very close fight. So and I showed the ability to really cause some damage in that fight. So to me, it's like depending on how she does versus Aaron Blanchfield, I don't know. I mean, I guess it really kind of really depends. I mean, to me, it's not like the most of my concern. And I know you said Whaley. I mean, she's at 115, but I don't know if I
Oh,
don't know what
I
her
screwed that
plans
up
are.
again. I did that. I
Yeah.
did that. Oh my God. I always do this. Why do I always do this? Alexa Grasso and Valentina. Yes. Why do I always mix these? I always mix these two up for some. I think I'm getting old, Rose. This is what's happening to me. I think I've
I
determined
mean, I
this.
don't know if Whaley wants to move up or something. I know she wanted to fight Alexa or whatever.
By the
So,
way, you did that
you
in such a polite and respect. Thank you for not making fun of me. I
know,
could see you sort of trying to do it in the most graceful way possible. Yes, I screwed that up. My bad. Apologies.
it's all good. It's all good. But no, I am excited for that fight too. I'll be watching, but no, I guess it really just, I just got to focus on making sure that I, put on the best performance that I can. And if whatever, I guess whatever I got to do to get there, I will, and, I just kind of take it one step at a time. But yeah, the focus is just put on a good performance. And, I think that if I do that, then anything's possible.
Would you have any reservations about fighting Valentina?
I mean, of course, like I think it would definitely be like she's honestly like my favorite fighter,
Oh,
my
really?
favorite fighter. Yeah, so I just like so yeah, that would definitely would be difficult. Even just like saying that I would like fight her is like kind of weird, um, but I mean at the same time, like I'm also like as a fan, I would and training with her for so long, it's like I know practice is practice, so it's just like and fight's a fight. There's two totally different things, but just as a martial artist, I'd want to test myself against her just because the way that like as I was coming up in the strawweight division, Joanna was the standard to me. Valentina, even though she's still not like she's not the champ right now, she's still the standard to me. So, and I mean Alexa is also very amazing too. That's not to like, take anything away from her, but just the fan, like I enjoy her fighting and stuff. So yeah, like if she ever, I guess if she were the champ again, I would appreciate that. But just to have a fight, I guess like that would have to be, I guess, the right circumstances. And I would hope that, we get paid well doing
Yes,
that too.
of course. Every time you fight, you should be paid well.
Yeah.
Just curious, you mentioned your age, and you're not old by any stretch, but we've feels like we've been watching you and known about you for so long, Invicta and all that stuff before, when you had long hair and you're hitting flying arm bars and whatnot. Is it wild for you that you're now a veteran? Like, do you think about that? Is that something that you're comfortable with? You have these fighters, Aaron and Manon, who weren't on the scene when you were champion. How do you come to terms with that?
Yeah, it is weird because like when I mean I definitely have like probably the one of the more unique, I guess, career paths and journeys in this fight game. So like I'm like young old, because like I'm old in the fight game as far as, but then also like I have like a lot of big fight experience, but like maybe not like the most like little fight experience, but I have a lot of big fight experience. So even though like my record might look a certain way or it might not be like the most fights, but it's also like really big fights. So I just feel like that kind of, I guess, does different things to you and it teaches you different things. So it is kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm just enjoying like where I'm at right now. Like but it's funny because like a lot of I can tell sometimes like just certain feelings that I would normally have like as a younger fighter or just other younger fighters that talk about certain things. I'm just like, I feel like we're talking in like middle school terms or something like it's just like, it's like, cause it's just certain things get old and I'm just enjoying the training more than ever. Like I don't like even today I practice like Wall Wednesday is like the worst day ever, and I'm like 10 minutes into drilling, I just got a stinger, and I'm like, all right, I'm just thinking about what Greg told us like as a kid. Like I used to think like because Greg Nelson used to always be like, if you're injured, you just gotta figure out how to like maneuver around an injury or something. And I'm like, because what if you're in a street fight and you gotta fight like that? And I'm just thinking of and back when I was young, I used to be like, man, like I used to be like, that's stupid or whatever. But now I'm like, no, that makes a lot of sense. I got a stinger. I gotta figure out how to manage with this stinger instead of just like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna like take it easy and just whatever. Same thing, you know, you get in a fight, you freaking, you know, you bust your finger up. It's like you can't just sit there and feel sorry for yourself. You gotta figure out how to defend yourself, and not only defend yourself, but try to win the fight. So it's like, so now I'm so much more seasoned. I'm so much more like tougher, like way more like, yeah, just little things that used to bother me. It don't bother me no more. Like even just little drama and things like that. It's like whatever, you know?
I love it. There's a lot to learn there for all of us, and it's great to see this this newfound or refound, if that's even a word, enthusiasm and vigor when it comes to your career. So welcome back, Rose. Great to talk to you once again. Great to hear and see that you're in great spirits and in a great place. And looking forward to your return on March 23rd against Amanda Ribas. Appreciate the time as always.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
all right, there she is, the one and only Thug Rose, Rose Namajunas. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.